Well, it is a star-studded event, Phil, and you know, a lot of Silicon Valley guest names on the list tonight, including the CEOs of Netflix, Microsoft, of course, Facebook, and a little baby bump on Priscilla Chan's waist today. So a lot of who's who here at the White House, and of course, all of it here to honor President Xi Jinping and First Lady Peng Liyuan. It was a very busy day here at the White House, full of lots of things that needed to be delivered, lots of work on cyber, lots of work on climate, lots of work on even a tourism initiative for next year. But I want to give you a chance to look at something I put together on the history of First Ladies in this country, and it's something that really First Lady Peng Liyuan is trying to pioneer as well in China.
When the White House needs a woman's touch, American leaders have turned to the First Lady. Historians say Dolly Madison, wife to the fourth U.S. president, set the bar as national hostess back in the early 1800s.
She could make you feel comfortable and like you were the only person in the room. And I think that was a charismatic quality that she had that just drew people to her as a result.
Fast forward to 1972, and American First Lady Pat Nixon would use her role as presidential spouse to help usher in a new era of U.S.-China relations. She wore this eye-catching red coat in the color of the Chinese flag as she sampled Chinese dim sum and fell in love with giant pandas.
She really showed the human side of America, and we Americans got to see the human side of the Chinese people through that visit.
A decade later, Nancy Reagan accompanied her husband to meet Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping. He gave her a red silk dress, which she wore the following year to welcome his successor, Li Shenyan, to the White House.
A state dinner is the highest honor you can give any country. And so for Nancy Reagan to wear a traditional Chinese dress for the state dinner of the President of China was a high honor, and it really showed a lot of respect for the relationship between the United States and China.
She loved this China a lot and used it a lot.
Anita McBride was the chief of staff to American First Lady Laura Bush, wife of George W. Bush. She also worked in the Reagan and senior Bush White Houses.
Our home, the president's home, is the people's house, and it's where the American people greet the world leader. And every First Lady that I've had the honor of getting to know and work with takes that very, very seriously.
In 2006, the Bushes hosted an official lunch for Chinese President Hu Jintao and his wife, Liu Yongqing. Laura Bush wanted to show her respect through a special treat.
Mrs. Bush worked with the White House pastry chef to develop a dessert that had a name, and the name was called A Good Fortune, and it was melon 3 ways, and it had candied ginger and candied orange.
Now the White House will welcome Chinese President Xi Jinping and Peng Liyuan, a presidential spouse now pioneering her own role as First Lady, whether she's welcoming world leaders, traveling abroad, or taking selfies with Chinese young people. Madam Peng is also forging her own personal diplomacy with the United States. Last year, she invited Michelle Obama, her mother, and 2 daughters to Beijing. They left with a Chinese proverb inscribed by Peng Liyuan.
You're best at it when you're very authentic. You bring to the table something that you have credibility on, that you care about, because that resonates with people.
This state dinner will be the first opportunity for the American First Lady to host Madam Peng in return.